Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I am so excited for this plane. It is finally here. It took so long, but it's here now, and with it has come Fox trees, and most importantly for the US, the AIM-120A, which is just super fantastic. I don't even know how to describe it. It is such a large upgrade over the ER and the AIM-7M that it's just wild. It has a maximum pull of 35G, which is actually just crazy. It sometimes pulls way more than that in my experience. I have managed to get this thing to literally do a 360 on some of my enemies, which is just absolutely crazy. But the most important part of this update is that the ER superiority is finally over, and the US finally has a BVR truck that can compete in the meta. But don't let that discourage you, Russian mains. I'm sure you're enjoying your R77s. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I want to talk about that matchmaker of this plane. So it sits at a battle rating of 13.7, which in my honest opinion, I think is one of the best planes in the game right now on a technical basis, because the Japanese do have a better variant of this plane, the F15C, which is basically the same. However, it gets the AM3, a 40G AIM-9M, a Japanese licensed AIM-9M, or I'm not really sure. It's the same thing almost, but it has 40Gs. And you get the AM4, which is a Japanese Fox 3. I don't even know the effectiveness of it compared to the AMRAAM, but I think they're quite close. I think the AM4 pulls slightly more, but the AMRAAM might have more range, even though it should not be like this in IRL. The AM4 has much more range than 120A. I think it's close to C1 AIM-120C3 or AIM-120C5, which is absolutely crazy. I think it's probably nerfed for the time being, because if it weren't, it would be too OP. But anyways, moving on, let's talk about the strengths of this plane. As you can see right now, the acceleration of this plane is just abysmal. It is crazy. I have not managed to see a plane like this, of course, apart from the F15A and F16C, to accelerate so fast. It's just mind-blowing. I have managed to get to Mach 2 very frequently in my ARB matches, which is I have not heard of with any other plane from other nations. For example, you get the SU-27 SM, which is, I have to say, it is a terrible plane compared to this thing. This thing will rip apart the SU-27 SM in any day, any night. It doesn't matter. The acceleration of this thing, as I said, is superb. The energy retention is also superb, especially after Mach 1.3. You get amazing energy retention. You can just sit up there high altitude, slinging your AMRAAMs, and nobody will even see them coming. And also, another thing to mention about this plane is that it has excellent amount of countermeasures. Of course, you don't get as much as the Gripen with the ball pods, but you do get enough. You get 240. I like to have 140 on chaff and 100 on flares, but it's really up to you. You can have more chaff, you can have more flares. In this update, Gaijin introduced a new system which allows you to manually assign to your aircraft how many chaff or how much flares you would like to have, which is a pretty neat thing. And you get separate countermeasure controls. So for example, you can choose to only dump flares and only chaff, which is excellent. I haven't gotten those keybinds yet because I frankly don't have enough space on my mouse, and my mouse is all I use for my countermeasures. So it's very hard for me to do it, so I haven't been using them, and been utilizing the old system of dumping both at the same time. But anyways, I'm sure you're wondering how good this thing is compared to the F15A, especially in flight performance. I have to say there is a noticeable difference, but the F15A was already so good, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. But the F15A does have more engine output throughout the board below 1200 kmh, which I don't think it should. I believe that it is a glitch and needs to be fixed immediately. And the F15A is lighter, which makes it better in a dogfight against other planes, such as the Gripen, SU-27, and the new F-16AM from the Benelux tech tree in France. But it doesn't really matter, because the F-15C is good enough in a dogfight. Especially if you get below like 15 minutes of fuel, It is so dang good. I can't even manage to describe it. It is super good. I think you can run rings around your enemies whenever you want, but it's not as good as F15A. There is a slight difference, but it's not that huge. But anyways, talking about the main weapon of this thing, you get the AIM-120, which is excellent. As you can see, just look at my acceleration. I'm gonna pause talking about the AIM-120A for a second. Just look at my goddamn acceleration. It is crazy. Like, I have not been able to get up to this speed with any other plane, like the Mirage or the Gripen or the SC-27s. I have not been able to get this fast with any of them. The F-15 is just superb for ARB. It is arguably the best plane in the game right now for ARB. For dogfighting, it's not the best, but it's one of the best. But anyway, talking about the 120A again, it is super, super good. It is a 35G missile, as I said, it's super good, 35G missile. It's a Fox 3, most importantly, which means that you can fire it off and it'll guide in its own on its own merry way. So that differs it from the AIM-7F because you had to maintain a lock with the 7F, which with the AIM-120A you don't. You can guide it in using TWS, which means that the enemy doesn't get a radar signature like on their RWR until the AIM-120A goes pitbull, which is around 16 km. So if you'd like to get a higher chance of getting a kill, try to guide it in along to 16 km using TWS, which is just fantastic. Did you guys just see that shot right there with the AIM-120? This thing is crazy. Anyways, I managed to get my friend Yuli Kenobi here. Thanks, Yuli Kenobi, for some testing with the F15C. So he's in the SC-27, the normal one, not in the SM. The SM is actually slightly heavier, I think. I don't know why, but it's slightly heavier, I'm guessing because of the newer avionics, but that doesn't really matter in War Thunder. Like new cockpit and stuff, which is pretty neat for sim players, but for ARB it doesn't really matter. So it's going to be slightly worse in ARB in terms of flight performance. But however, you do get something which is the R77s are like half the weight of the ER, which makes it about the same. But in a 1v1 dogfight situation, the normal SC-27 is going to be better than the SM. But as you can see, even the normal SC-27 is struggling hard with F15C. So what I'm doing right now is abusing my 1-to-1 thrust to weight ratio and just climbing above him. This allows me to basically bleed him apart from his speed, which means that he can't do anything about it. And he gets shredded right here. So, and he's dead. Anyways, moving on to the second round. I hope you guys like that small cinematic I made. Oh, talking about cinematics, you guys should totally check out my last cinematic I made on the F15C. I think it is much better than my F16C cinematic. I went all out on it, and I'm hoping you guys like it as well as much as I do. So yeah, moving on, we get that was like a Syrian leap turn. Yeah, that was a Syrian leap turn, and you saw that I was shooting my cannon. I still don't know how to perfect it, but I managed to basically point my nose around because the M61 Vulcan on this thing has such high recoil that it helps you push your nose around, which can be vital even for like a millisecond in a dogfight. So I've been trying to perfect it, but it's very, very hard to do. However, talking about the performance of this thing again, I just want to take a quick second to talk about the flight performance with sim controls. I know I'm a big sim control guy, but I'm not even kidding. This thing is superb in sim controls. Like, as you can see, I crit him, I got his wing. It is so good in sim controls that I have literally been able to outpull Gripens with sim controls at low speed, which is just absolutely crazy. And this SC-27 can't do anything about it. So, and I try to go for an extra shot here, but he gets killed. Trying to dodge R-73s, and it flies right past me. here's the last round for the MiG-29. I hope you guys like these small cinematics that I made for dogfighting. I took some inspiration from Growling Sidewinder. He's a very big inspiration to me. So I hope you guys like that. Anyways, I want to talk about if you're grinding with this thing somehow, if you want to grind the F15C with this thing, it is also very good at that. You can get up to 18 snake eyes, which are really, really good for bases. I think you can get napalm as well, which is also superb for bases. And for ground RB players, I would not really recommend this thing. Go for the F16C instead. It is a much, much better option because for ground RB, you only get GPU 8s, which they're fine, but they're not as good as the pave base or the AGM65D. But anyways, moving on. Right in front of me, and he is dead. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you liked it.